Welcome back to Photos with Yanni. Here we are in this incredible spot, as you can see behind me. We're out here in Wilmington, and I swear to God, every time I think I find a new spot, or I think I figured out all the spots keep getting better. I wanted to do this video real quick and talk about editing, because a lot of people are understandably so intimidated by editing. And I get to see a lot of young photographers and beginner photographers like me, myself, who they hear editing and they're like, oh, I don't do edit. I prefer natural photos as they come out of camera. Well, that's great, but you have to keep in mind a couple of things. The very first thing, no camera actually shoots without any editing. Let's get that out of the way. Every camera that, even if you shoot in RAW or if you don't touch it up whatsoever, in order to see what the images look like in the back of your camera, it has to do some sort of processing, because RAW is just that, it's just raw data. So depending on what profile you have set up for your JPEG on the camera, guess what the camera is doing? It's processing. Even if you were to dump it to Lightroom immediately and just start, export it just by putting your watermark, Lightroom is going to do just some modifications. Is that a snake? I hope it's not a snake. So what's so bad about editing? A lot of people think it compromises the artistic integrity. I don't believe that. I believe that we should edit only because, somewhat, adjectives. I believe that we should edit for a lot of reasons. And one of the major reasons is that not even the best camera can actually match the dynamic range of our eyes. I mean, our eyes see what, 20 stops or something, whatever measurement they use for dynamic range. And the best camera does what, 12, 13, 15 stops of dynamic range? So you need to have some sort of editing in order to see what the human eye sees. Watch this right now. I'm going to change the focus on this. Boom. See how the sky got blown out? Our eyes don't do that. Our eyes are able to perceive every single detail that's out there real time. Whereas right now the focus is right over here, and that's why the camera can compensate for that. Now imagine having such an incredible backdrop right here, and you're gonna have to edit to be able to get all the details. This is another reason why you edit. If you have such dynamic scenes just like this one, where you have incredible shadows, very deep shadows, and clipping highlights, you have to edit. You have to bring it onto the processing and edit so you can get all those little details that you see back there. Is that a plane? No, those are military aircraft. Let's take some pictures while you notice every time I take pictures in such dynamic range environments, just as this one, that you have all the colors and all the different, highlights and shadows and whatnot, I take 3 or 5 shots because I use AEB, and I did another video that I'm going to link below on how to use AEB, auto exposure bracketing. So you have to edit only for the artistic integrity to make sure that we're getting, most of the details of our picture. What is that down there? It looks like a dinosaur, but it's just a buoy. I don't edit because it compromises the vision. Here's another one passing by. I can understand some people not wanting to edit if they're doing sports photography, if they're doing photojournalism. That's perfectly fine. You want to keep, what the camera saw, you want to keep that. You want to present that one. But that being said, unless if you're doing those two things, there's nothing pure. There's nothing non-pure about non-editing. If anything, the terminology of dodge and burn was invented because of Ansel Adams. Ansel Adams has been doing, stuff in his darkroom from the very dawn of the photographic times. So it's not anything about compromising the artistic integrity. Photographers have been editing pictures, be it film, digital, or whatever, on any format ever since the beginning of photography. Now, I think the major reason why a lot of people don't edit, it's the same reason why I started using the non-editing excuse too, because I was afraid of it. You look at Lightroom, you look at Luminar, and they're daunting. And that's perfectly fine. That's why some people give away free presets, like me, which is a great starting point to edit and enhance your pictures. But I honestly think if you spend 10 or 15 minutes every week in learning tips and tricks on how to edit in Lightroom, not only will your pictures be benefited, but the end result is going to be outstanding. And at the end of the day, That's what you want. Don't you want better pictures? I think the number one thing about photography, the number one mistake that a lot of people make is the absolute. Photography is art. There's nothing absolute about art. You may not want to edit now, but you are free to change your mind. And that's one of the greatest things about being an adult. You got new information, you're free to change your mind. Democracy, right? I guess what I was trying to say is that you should feel free to change your mind. You should work the way you want to work. Just don't limit yourself, already. Photography is hard enough. You have to learn so many new things, and just excluding editing just for the sake of editing, it's just not fair to you. You may realize that your niche, lies in editing, and it only takes usually a couple of simple tricks just to make your pictures look better. So I would think twice before I would say, I don't edit, or I don't do this, or I don't do that. You may find out that spending 5 or 10 minutes a week, is going to help your photography game, and it's going to make you feel better too, because there's nothing better than, beautifully edited pictures. I'm going to edit the crap out of this one, saturate it. I'm going to show the end result. This was it. This video is going to be a little bit short, and some videos are going to be short, some videos are not going to be short. As always, please feel free to like, subscribe. It helps the channel grow. And until next time, I'll see you at Photos with Yanni. See you. The heck was that?